Welcome to another video. Well, I did say that in this video we're doing some exercises, and I will be modeling about 5 shapes, I think. All right, so just pick like 5 shapes and we'll model that and we'll see how we can go from there. All right, so there are different approaches to modeling. There are different approach. You could model things in different ways whatsoever. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into SketchUp and get rid of this lady standing there, and on the file I have, I'll just drag it onto SketchUp and place it right there so I can have my reference. Since it's a picture, you can't do that for PDF documents, only for pictures. All right, so first thing I want to establish is I want to model just one of these. So I'll be taking the one by the left. It looks a little bit complex. So usually there are different ways to model, and part of the things I usually do is to come from an axis and I maintain the axis. So for example, this model, what I do is for shapes like this, all right, because there are different things you model. You could model in parts and couple them together, different ways and styles to model. All right, so but for this shape, what I'll do is I'll take the overall width and length and draw that out. So that's 40 by, so I'll just quickly take my tape tool, because when I try drawing my rectangle on the green axis, it's not snapping. So I take my tape tool and I put it there to create a guideline and put it there, because your tools will always snap to a guideline. All right, so on line, and I just pull that out. So we have 70 by 40. Is that 40? Yes, that's 40. 70 by 40, and I just put that in. All right, so quickly we see that that's a very tiny stuff. So what we just do is to quickly align. I just drag that to somewhere around here, and then I'll hold this and scale it down. All right, then I'm just going to zoom in real quick. All right, so now I want to go ahead and start. So I know that the distance from here to here is 10. So I'm just going to measure 10 from here in. So measure 10 and press enter. And then what I could actually do, I could still do that. Then I check the next step. The next step is 30 from down upwards. So I would quickly just take my tool. I draw a line there. Then that's the line tool. I draw the line to create that, and I push this up by 30, and then I push this other part up by, okay, that's not the height. The height is actually 5 by 5, so my 5. All right, then I could go ahead and see. So from this point, so from this edge to this internal part is about 30. So I could just measure 30 from here down and put my line tool, or I could use rectangle, whichever one. There are different ways to get things done, and the height is about 30. Is that 30 or 35? That's 35. That's 35 right there, I think. Yeah, that's 35. All right, then we have this last part, this last area. So what I wanted to do with this last area is, first of all, I want to get this thing. Now I could use inset here to show you something. So if I measure from this point inwards 20, measure that, not 20 actually, I measure 20 from that point out, measure 20, or I could measure 9 from here as well, measure 9, that's 9, and then enter. What I could do is I could take this line, and take this line, and then hit the insert tool, and it insets that line. All right, so but you could see very quickly that that's not going to work. I just want to show you that that's a workflow you could use. See, it's been inserted, but it's not, it gave it an even insert. So what I could actually do is to select that. If I draw this out, draw 9 out, I could select that and use my scale and scale it on both sides by holding control. If I hold control while scaling, it scales it on both sides, and like that, I leave it there and it fits. Now, I only did that to show you that there is no limit to how you could model. All right, you can model in different ways. So now that I've done that, I just quickly pick this tool and push it down by, what's the depth there? The depth is 15 millimeters, so that's, I go down by 15. All right, and like that, I'm done with that shape. It's a very simple, it's a very, relatively simple shape. I think part of the assignment I gave them was when you are done modeling, they should go ahead and add dimensions to it. So I come under tools and I pick up the dimension tool, and I just, start adding my dimensions. So from this point to this point, pull out the dimension from this point to this point, sorry, from this point to this point. I pull out the dimension till you notice that snapping effect. It snaps onto the previous dimension I've done, and then from this point to this down point, I pull it out at 5, and then from this point down to this other point at 70, and like that, you could just go ahead and put in all your dimensions. All right, for the sake of time and length of the video, I'm not going to go ahead and do all of them, but one thing I'll show you is that from this point to this point, I can just pull it down to this point. All right, then I could do the same thing from here to here, pull it down to that point, from here to here again, pull it down to that point. I think I just want to show you the various ways you could get that done. And for this 20 also, since I have a guide here, I could work with that. But if I didn't have a guide there, what I could do is to put a point here, put a point here, because it will always, the dimensions will always stick to a vertex point or an edge, or sorry, a corner point made by what do you call it, made by a guide. All right, so that's that for that. So I'll go ahead and pick another shape. All right, so I'll take this one. I haven't done a pre practice. Okay, like this, just from doing simple operations. I think maybe this a bug in my PC or something. I'll fix that later. All right, so yes, so I wanted to get another shape. So we're done with that shape, and just for quick measures, I'll scale this down, because by the time we start taking the measurement, so we could quickly see that this shape right here is an interesting one. And to just simply get that done, let me just draw a shape as such, and it's literally as simple as drawing an arc. All right, so we could draw an arc to this point, and then take from another point and draw another arc like so, clean this point and draw another arc like so, and clean this point. As weird as that looks, we've actually done something similar to that. We delete that and we could just push pull that upwards, and we have a shape that looks like that. All right, so but I'm pretty sure there are other ways to still do that. So I think we could use the 3-point arc. We put this point, we put the second point, and then we put the last point. Okay, no, no, not like that. But okay, yeah, let's start from this point. All right, from that point, get to some point around here. All right, and then from that point, okay, see that, and then we'll delete the unwanted part. So you can easily see how we could create shapes like this. It's not like maybe it's rocket science stuff. I didn't want to really go into trying to make it accurate. I just want to give you a sense of understanding that you could actually achieve things like this really simple. It's just a matter of combining power, merging your mind and being able to bring out something. So let's look at another very simple shape. I think this one is also interesting. My SketchUp should not crash on me. So let me just quickly import this here. All right, so we have this. I'm not going to try to gain accuracy here. I'm just going to try to, oh, no, don't make that a component. I'm just going to try to replicate this. So just for the sake of time, I will not necessarily go into trying to get the accuracy out there. But if I were to draw out a rectangle, okay, let me say that's 50 by 20. All right, so let's do 50 by 20. I'm trying to get this shape by this law, right? So that's 50 by 20. I zoom into that. So the radius is actually 25. So if I actually zoom into that and put it up, what's the height? Height there is about 45 before the 25 radius. So if I do 45 high, and then the radius there is 25. So one thing I could do is to pull this up, but notice how when I push it, it moves the whole thing. So I actually wanted to leave the original face there and move. So I click on Control when I'm doing my push pull, and it brings out the plus sign again, like in the other move and rotate to. And I have this, I could just do 25 to 85 and hit enter. Now I have a duplicated face like so, and I could just go ahead and use an arc, join this point. Yeah, okay. I use an arc, I put it in the middle, and then I draw it out like so, and rotate it all the way so, and then I just push pull this all the way and cut it off. And I can just go ahead and clean this up and right click and hold eraser tool and shift to drag. You see, we have simple shapes like that done, and there are many more things you could actually do with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and end the video there. So that's just a little bit of modeling exercise to show you what is obtainable. All right, so there are many things we can do. We can go on and on and on and on and on and on modeling different things. All right, you can put a rectangle and put a circle on it, put a circle on it. We could, do different kind of things. All right, so let me say I do my rectangle, push it up, and I come make my circle on it, and make my circle, and then I push it up. I just have to, if I want to get this shape exactly how it is, I make use of guide, and I ensure that when I put my guide to be at the very middle when I'm drawing the circle, which I could actually still go ahead and draw the circle and move it. Since it's already drawn, I could just go ahead and still do connected faces right here and move the circle. Sorry. Okay, moving it might be difficult because I might not be able to get the midpoint. So, but I can see from this that that's the midpoint. So I could just come to my move tool and click that. Allow the circles in the very middle. All right, so but there are different things you could do. A lot of things are actually achievable with this. So I'm just going to end this video here, and in the next video, which I'll probably record in another day, I would go ahead and start explaining how you could I'll explain some technicalities as to combining of models. I'll explain technicalities as to the snapping, many other things. I think I listed out some things there. So thank you so much, and catch you in the next video.